Next question will be back to me first to answer. What are your thoughts on the proposed second floor renovation and the process that the plan has gone through this year?
Well, speaking as a former club executive who didn't have an office and a current service executive who has an office but shares the space, I believe that a second floor reno needs to take place insofar that it needs to make the CSA a little more efficient. I know when I have to hold interviews for Safe Walk, I have new volunteers kind of wandering around the second floor, wondering where my office is. So I'd like to see that take place. And as far as the process goes, after speaking with multiple clubs, a couple of members of the media, it's my understanding that basically thoughts were expressed, but then the current CSA executive, although they've done an awesome job, just kind of went ahead with it, and a lot of people felt that they were shortchanged.
Johannes?
As I mentioned in my opening speech, I believe that it's amazing that people are talking about it. There was a space audit done several years ago, and the UC administration just buried it under a lot of legislation and a lot of policy. So now people are talking about it, and that's a huge step forward. It would be a shame to see all the work that has been done this year go to waste. So next year, I would campaign for a much more consultative and transparent process. A public and contentious issue like this should not be done behind closed doors, and it involves a lot of different club executives, a lot of different students that use those clubs and services, and it affects a lot of different services that the CSA offers. So it's important that when we do move forward with plans, whatever they are, students are content. It's going to be a fine balance between, you can't always please everyone, and I think that's just, that's something that everybody has come to accept, but it's important that you don't piss off everyone. Thank you.
Bradley Webb?
Student space in the UC will always be an issue with the history that has happened. It was supposed to be a student building, but the administration took over the third floor and fourth and fifth, etc. That's the story behind it that I've been told. However, I would like to see the second floor become entirely student space. The renovation is a good idea. However, there are some issues. One of them being the dentist and the photographer would have to close down for a little while so that we can put in the floor and reduce their ceiling. Another concern expressed was that the photographer might have to move off campus because they won't have another spot to do the photography. So what I'd like to do next year is I'd like to sit down with the entire CSA executive, all the board members, everybody involved, everyone who has a stake in this, get together and just hash it out over one or two meetings, however many meetings it takes.
Jonathan McDowell?
Great. Let me just say that all throughout my campaign, one issue that I like to discuss is the renovations to the second floor of the UC. And what that means is there's going to be a lot of change happening there, and there's opinions right now that are sort of resistant to what is going to happen is going to happen. I encourage everyone who feels passionately about this issue that they speak to me or whoever gets this position, and just let us know what you feel. It's going to be my role to maintain diplomatic relations with everyone involved in this process. Other than that, I would just encourage you to speak up and let us know how you feel.
This question will be Joe first to answer. How would you ensure a fair and relevant CSA?
Okay, thank you, Tommy. I think ensuring a fair and relevant CSA involves having an open doors policy, not just to my own offices, but the CSA offices and the club offices and the service offices. In saying that, I think it's great that we want to say these services need to be proactive in their advertisements, but students, myself included, we aren't going to plan for when our landlord screws us over off campus. We aren't going to plan for when we go hungry and we need to use the food bank. People don't make those plans. Those plans are just thrown upon them. And so we need to continue catering our services so that they are efficiently reactive, and I think that's just the nature of the beast. So in saying that, I would advertise the services so that when students do get thrown into situations that they don't want to be in. They know where to go, but we can't expect students to be involved in taking advantage of the services if they don't actually find themselves in situations. Thank you.
Bradley Webb?
A fair and relevant CSA would depend a lot on the executive that they have and how well the executive team meshes as a whole. That being said, what Joel said is correct. Students won't use our services if they do not need them. They won't use a financial service if they have no need for financial services. So I'd like to see all of the services just promoted around campus so that students know that they are there when they need them. They might not necessarily need them all, but they will be there when they need them, and they will be there for them. And the CSA as a whole will be there to support the students.
Great. One thing I would like to emphasize is that the CSA is here for students, and we really enjoy seeing students volunteer and participate in university projects and volunteer projects. I would encourage all the students to come up with new ideas and stop by the CSA and ask us for support, ask us questions, ask us how we can support them. And that's what we're here for. We're here for students, and that's all I have to say.
Basically, I believe my familiarity with all the services will be of benefit, just because I will be able to bring a cohesiveness to not only the executive, but also the staff members. And that cohesiveness will be necessary to ensure that services are provided as described, that they have the chance to be improved, and that's basically it.